Hey everybody, welcome back to Somm Wine Club. I'm Sean, and this is Somm Wine for you. This is the 2021 Stoller Family Estate Dundee Hills Chardonnay from the Dundee Hills subregion of the Willamette Valley in Oregon. This is part of the March 2023 Somm Wine Club box, and I absolutely love this wine and Stoller. I've been to the winery half dozen times. I've stayed at the winery, waking up, looking at these vineyards. There's not many places in Oregon that rival the beauty of this place. And a lot of that is because of the way that Stoller has chosen to approach winemaking. They are stewards of the land. They are extremely environmentally conscious. In 2006, they were the first gold certified LEED winery in the world. They are a B Corp certified corporation, which means they have strong pillars for social responsibility, environmental responsibility. The winery is all self-sustaining. It's solar powered, and they have their own water systems. It's pretty impressive to see what you can do when you set your mind to it, and that includes the wines that they produce. So they've obviously staked their name on Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, as many producers in the Willamette Valley have done. And they do an exceptional job of expressing the terroir of this particular place, this sloping hillside in the Dundee Hills with this jory volcanic soil. It just produces some spectacularly complex, flavorful, and delicious wines, both Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. They also make a really great Riesling, which I love. But we're going to talk about the Chardonnay today. This is the 2021 vintage, which for those of you that were in the Pacific Northwest in the summer of 2021, you remember we had some awful heat. There was a horrendous heat wave in June where temperatures up here in Vancouver were over 100 Fahrenheit. And in the Willamette, it was closer to 110, and I think maybe even 115. That's really warm for this part of the world, and it's really warm for grapes. And luckily, the time of year that it happened was in between budburst and veraison, when the grapes are small and when they are not really as susceptible to damage from heat. If this had happened later in the season when the grapes were ripe and soft, they would have just turned into absolute raisins. And so, thankfully, the 2021 vintage was saved by timing and has created some really delicious Chardonnay and Pinot Noir out of the Willamette. So let's check out the Stoller Chard. You can see right away it's not a totally pale wine, even though this wine's done in mostly stainless steel for fermentation. They do use a little bit of concrete, about 10%, and a little bit of neutral French oak for fermentation as well, less than 10%, but enough that just a touch of oxygen helps to kind of flesh out the wine, add a little bit more roundness and a little bit more color. And I mean, being very young, this wine will continue to gain in complexity, weight, and get a little bit deeper in color as time goes on. But even right now, there is, I just opened, so a tiny little bit of reduction, which is the opposite of oxidation on the nose, where you get a little bit of the smell of sulfur, and that blows off as soon as you open the wine, get it into a glass or a decanter, give it a little splash, and let it air out. But lots of like spiced tree fruit. There's like a spicy, almost like spiced pear, yellow apple. Not like baking spices, but like aromatic spice. It's really kind of interesting. It's almost like someone has crossed citrus spice with tree fruit, because it has a fleshiness to it, a round kind of apple pear quality. I love the kind of lean mineral character of Chardonnay from this particular part of the valley. It smells like wet stones and mineral water and crushed slate. The texture is fantastic. It's almost got a little bit of a waxiness to it. It kind of slips over your teeth and your tongue, and you have this like not bitterness, not tannin, just like a coating, a feeling of warmth and roundness from vintage, from the quality of the fruit, from the styles of winemaking. The acidity is fantastic, especially for a vintage that was this warm. Maintaining acidity is really important in order to make sure that the wine doesn't end up tasting flabby and overripe. There's plenty of ripeness here. There's lots of fruit. There's lots of that underlying juiciness, but all wrapped up in a package that retains a super bright, lean, fresh character, which without it, this wine would just be kind of meh. And it's not. It's way up here, and it's really, really interesting and enticing to drink. I keep wanting to go back to it, even though I know I have to talk. This wine has a lot of potential. The Dundee Hills is not their reserved here. Doesn't see any oak aging, and it's not the wine that you would particularly think that you were going to lay down, but put this in the cellar for 5 years if you want to, and watch this wine go from bright and zesty and spicy and fruit-driven into something with toasty, earthy, savory characters, a little bit of like dried spices, roasted nuts, and this beautiful honeyed character that will emerge over time. As it stands right now, this is an incredible wine for kind of coming into spring weather. It has so much energy and vivacity, like spring onions, leeks, turnips, ramps, fiddleheads. You get these kind of bright green, herbaceous spring vegetables. Do that with really nicely cooked, like perfect roast chicken or pork loin or pork cutlets. You get a little breading on the outside. You can play off of the acidity and the brightness in the wine to help cut through the fat, or a really great piece of fish. Just let the wine kind of do its thing and try not to get too fussy about it. There's enough here that the wine's going to add an extra layer of complexity and flavor to whatever you throw at it. But I would definitely recommend sticking to bright, energetic, fresh food that the wine can just kind of comfortably sit alongside and be like, hey, let's just clean this up. I'm going to give you all of this fresh, ripe flavor. Oh, dies on camera. All right, well, apparently I'm not going to talk anymore because I'm just kind of entranced with the wine. So thank you. I hope that you love this as much as I love this. I'm glad to be sharing it with everybody this month. Go out and get yourselves a bottle of the Stoller Dundee Hills Chardonnay, or pick up a Somm Wine Club box, and I will see you next time.